Hello, welcome to my channel. You are the one where we talk all things law of assumption to help make your manifesting journey easier and more fun. And today we are talking about a wonderfully marvelous story that Neville Goddard shares in his book, The Complete Reader, or I think it's the book, The Law of the Promise. And it ties into a meditation that I've got coming out on Friday. So I wanted to give you a bit more of a background as to where this meditation comes from, the story that inspired it. So stick around. Okay, my name is Hedley Dorenzi. If you'd like to know more about me or my offerings, you can check the box below this video or head to my website, youaretheone.com.au, where you'll find all that information. But let's just get straight into the video. This is a story that I have just resonated with, or I just love ever since I first heard it, and I've heard it so many times now, that it inspired me to make a meditation using the phrase that this woman came up with in the story that I'm about to share with you. It's a story that Neville shares about a woman who was attending his lectures, and I'm not going to tell you too much because I'm actually going to read the story from The Complete Reader. You've probably heard of this story if you've been following Neville for some time. It's a wonderful story. It's from Chapter 7, Moods of the book, The Law and the Promise, and it's from The Complete Reader, which is my favorite book in the world. So I'm just going to read the story because I think that's the best way to get it across, and then we'll talk a bit more about it after. The lady in the following story so successfully felt the feeling of her wish fulfilled, she made her mood the character of the night, frozen in a delightful dream. Most of us read and love fairy stories, but we all know that stories of improbable riches and good fortune are for the delight of the very young. But are they? I want to tell you of something unbelievably wonderful that happened to me through the power of my imagination, and I am not young in years. We live in an age which believes in neither fable nor magic, and yet everything I could possibly want in my wildest daydreams was given to me by the simple use of what you teach. That imagining creates reality, and the feeling is the secret of imagining. At the time this wonderful thing happened to me, I was out of a job and had no family to fall back on for support. I needed just about everything. To find a decent job, I needed a car to look for it. And though I had a car, it was so worn out, it was ready to fall apart. I was behind in my rent, I had no proper clothes to seek a job, and today it's no fun for a woman of 55 to apply for a job of any kind. My bank account was almost depleted, and there was no friend to whom I could turn. But I had been attending your lectures for almost a year, and my desperation forced me to put my imagination to the test. Indeed, I had nothing to lose. It was natural for me, I suppose, to begin by imagining myself having everything I needed. But I needed so many things, and in such short order, that I found myself exhausted when I finally got through the list, and by that time I was so nervous I could not sleep. One lecture night, I heard you tell of an artist who captured the feeling, or word as you called it, of "Isn't it wonderful?" in his personal experience. I began to apply this idea to my case. Instead of thinking of and imagining every article I needed, I tried to capture the feeling that something wonderful was happening to me. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. I would say over and over to myself as I fell asleep, "Isn't it wonderful? Something marvelous is happening to me now." As I fell asleep, I would feel the way I would expect to feel under such circumstances. I repeated that imaginary action and feeling for 2 months, night after night. And one day in early October, I met a casual friend I hadn't seen for months, who informed me he was about to leave on a trip to New York. I had lived in New York many years ago, and we talked of the city a few moments and then parted. I completely forgot the incident. 1 month later, to the day, this man called at my apartment and simply handed me a certified check in my name for $2,500. After I got over the initial shock of seeing my name on a check for so much money, the story that unfolded seemed to me like a dream. It concerned a friend I had not seen nor heard from in more than 25 years. This friend of my past, I now learned, had become extremely wealthy in those 25 years. Our mutual acquaintance who had brought the check to me had met him quite by accident during the trip to New York last month. During their conversation, they spoke of me, and for reasons I was not to know, for this day, I have not heard from him personally and have not attempted to contact him, this old friend decided to share a portion of great wealth with me. For the next 2 years, from the office of his attorney, I received monthly checks so generous in amount they not only covered every necessary requirement of daily living, but left much over for all the lovely things of life: a car, clothes, a spacious apartment, and best of all, no need to earn my daily bread. This past month, I received a letter and some legal papers to be signed which provide the continuation of this monthly income for the rest of my natural life. TK. Is that not a simply wonderful, marvelous story? I love that story, and I love the phrase that that woman came up with. Isn't it wonderful? Something marvelous is happening to me. So that phrase is a phrase that I have been inspired to use and have now been inspired to make a meditation out of that is coming out after this video. And it's a moving meditation because part of that phrase is designed to get you into the feeling state that something wonderful is happening to you now. So this is a meditation that is about moving your body as you're listening to it. So the music is quite upbeat and it's just a really happy, feel-good meditation that I love. You know, everything that I do and create, I'm using basically for myself. Like I do it for myself first and then I put it out on YouTube for everybody else. So 100% I do actually this because I love it and I put it into practice myself. But I just love this story, and I think the key with this story is not just repeating the phrase, isn't it wonderful, something marvelous happened to me now, is that she got herself into the feeling state of that something marvelous happening to her now, like every night, night after night for 2 months. And then, you know, how marvelous is what happened to her. She received that payment from an old friend, and then those payments continued, and they continued long after his death and for the end of her life, so that she never ever had to worry about money again or working. Just such a wonderfully uplifting story that I have been reminding myself of that story because of just what I've been going through recently, which just hasn't been, like, things haven't been flowing, they haven't been feeling great, and my reality, I've been dipping into my reality way too much. And just losing that connection with my, not losing the connection, but just not paying more attention to my reality than I have been to my imagination. So I've been putting that phrase into practice and getting into the feeling state of imagining, like, imagine, isn't it wonderful? Something marvelous is happening to me now. Like if something marvelous is happening to you now, that has got to feel good. If that story is happening to you now, that is going to feel really good. Getting into that feeling state of already having that which it is that you would like. Now, if you have many things, that's what I like about that story, is that it encompasses the many challenges that she was faced with. Like she needed so many things that she couldn't decide which to apply the Isn't It Wonderful technique to, because there was just so many things she needed. So she came up with that phrase that encompassed everything. So if you're feeling like you're a little bit swamped by your reality, or reality's like throwing a bit too much at you, then this is a really great phrase to put into practice. But in particular, getting into the feeling state. That's really key with this. It's being able to feel what it's like to know that something marvelous is happening to you. And you don't know what that is, but it doesn't matter because something marvelous is happening to you now. So I love that story. I wanted to share it with you. It's from The Law and the Promise in the Complete Reader. Check it out if you haven't already. And also check out my meditation, which is coming. I hope you enjoy it. And that's pretty much it from me. Thank you again for listening. If you'd like to find out more information about anything, go to my website, youaretheone.com.au. And please remember, as always, you are the amazing creators of your reality. You are the superstar of your show. You are the producer, the writer, the director, and the actor in your movie. What you assume to be true will be so. So assume the best for you and assume the best for everyone in your movie too, and you will have an amazing life. And this is my wish, my vision, and my prayer for you. I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.